struggled with knowing the most authentic way to give an apology after you've made a super embarrassing mistake? You royally screwed up. Now you got to have that uncomfortable conversation when you apologize in person. What do you say? How do you let them know that you're being genuine and honest? If you've ever struggled with knowing the right things to say and how to give an authentic apology, you're going to want to watch this TejalTV episode. I'm going to walk you through the 5 steps of giving an authentic apology. Welcome to TejalTV. I'm Tejal V. Patel. Now, if you're a stressed out mama, I'm your secret weapon. I help busy mamas learn simple ways to stress less, live mindfully, and raise mindful children too. Now, if you're anything like me, you've probably experienced the stress of having to give an apology. You royally screwed up. Now, how do you find the right words to say that makes it a heartfelt, genuine, and compelling apology? For someone like me, I've constantly struggled with this because I used to be a chronic people pleaser. Knowing that I disappointed someone or someone was thinking negatively of me just drove me insane. I would have sleepless nights. I would seriously have churning in my stomach as if I was creating ulcers. It was terrible. Sometimes I would just apologize profusely, even if it was the other person's fault too, because I just wanted to go away. And then there have been the other extreme, the extreme that I made such a horrible mistake that the pain of acknowledging that I made the mistake was too much to bear. So we blame and we project and we deflect and we are defensive and we want to do everything to justify our behavior. Wherever you fall on that spectrum, it's important to know that knowing how to give a genuine apology is a necessary life skill for ourselves and for our kids. Because mistakes, disagreements, misunderstandings are a natural part of relationships. And what are we going to do? Just break off good friendships every single time that there is a disagreement? To create that genuine connection, that trust, that intimacy, knowing how to give and receive apologies is crucial. So I want to share a really embarrassing mistake that I recently made. I'm going to share how I sent the apology, and it's going to illustrate the 5 steps of how to give an authentic apology. This is something that I've been working really hard on in the last couple years, and I think that I finally got a handle on it. Now, I ain't no guru, and I just want to let you know that I make mistakes, really bad mistakes, and I want to share how I rectified it. So, every year I speak at this event that I get so excited about. Since January, I had the date marked off on March 23rd. It's this event where I go to a university and I talk to teachers how to infuse mindfulness and yoga into classrooms. So I had my seminar all ready, my workbook all ready, it was ready to go, and I thought it was March 23rd. Then on March 16th, I get a phone call around 2 o'clock. It's the organizer of the event, and she's like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? The event is next week." And she's like, "No, it's not. It's today. Your session started 20 minutes ago. You had a full class and now people are leaving." And my heart literally sunk into my stomach. I was like, "Oh, I can't believe I made such a big goober mistake with the date." Like, my mind tricked me. I really thought that it was March 23rd. And that was the tentative date, and I never got the memo that the date changed, or my mind played tricks on me, and I never recognized that the date had changed. And so I profusely apologized on the phone, but she had to go because she had to do damage control, and I was 20 minutes away from my parents' house, which is 2 hours away from my home. So it wasn't like I could just jump in my car, get to the session, and give my talk. I couldn't do anything. And at that moment, I was like, ready to self-deprecate, get into self-sabotage mode. I am such a chronic self-critical person that I was ready to go into that space. And something that I've worked really hard on is when I'm about to go into that space, I will ask myself, If my son made this mistake, would I want him to handle it this way? Would I want him to be saying these things to himself? And the answer is always a big fat no. I would want my son to know that everyone makes mistakes. This was not an intentional mistake, but how do you move forward? Your actions had consequences, so you have to rectify them. You have to be considerate of how other people felt because of your behavior, and what do you do in the future to change and be better and to hopefully not have the same scenario play out again? And so I want to share the email that I sent 20 minutes later when I was sitting in the driveway at my parents' house. I was overwhelmed that I needed to send an email. And this email illustrates the 5 steps of an authentic apology. And I want to read it to you, and then we can dive into the steps. So I will change her name, and the organizer's name, we'll call her Amy. We'll say, "Dear Amy, I can't even begin to express my heartbreak for my mishap on the dates. This event, your mission, and speaking to your group is something that means so very much to me, and I just hope you know this was absolutely 100% not intentional. I'm so deeply sorry for the inconvenience it caused you and your team and any disappointment that you've experienced. I was thinking how I can make it up to you and the people who wanted to attend my session. Since you probably have the emails for those who attended the event, what if I record a 1-hour session of my presentation, send you the link to my workbook so that you can email it out to the participants next week? It's the best way that I know how that I can make my actions right. And I make sure that everyone that was meant to come to my session deserved what they're meant to hear. If this is something you think I could do, please let me know and I'll send you the information next week. Also, I have so much respect for your yoga symposium, and I humbly request from the bottom of my heart that you still consider me for the event next year should you be hosting. I assure you this is not something that is in my character, and it's a one-off mistake. I'll speak to you soon, Amy. Thank you so much for understanding, and I deeply apologize. My kindest regards, Tejal." So the first step when you're giving an authentic apology is owning your actions without justification. So I express my heartfelt apology, not, "Oh, but that was the tentative date and I had it wrong on my calendar," or justifying. My dad had actually mentioned, "Oh, it would have been nice if she sent you some emails, to notify you about the date." And I said, no, it wasn't her fault. She did send a few different emails, but even if she had March 16th on it, my mind was so set on March 23rd that I probably did not even register it. So that's how crazy our mind can be. So it's about acknowledging your actions without justification, not that but. That apology, no apology. "Oh, I'm sorry that my actions made you feel that way, but I was just kidding," or "It's not that big of a deal." No minimizing, no blaming, no deflecting, no projecting, no defensiveness, just owning your emotions. Next is understanding and acknowledging their feelings. Just being really super honest and being like, "I acknowledge that you probably feel disappointed. I put in there that the inconvenience it caused your team." So being aware of how the consequences of your actions. My intentions were 100% not intentional or malice. But sometimes we got to be really clear. Sometimes we make mistakes or we say something judgmental and there's some passive aggressiveness. If there is something underlying it, we have to be honest enough to acknowledge what is the fear, the insecurity, the judgment that we have projected, and really owning that. So even if it wasn't intentional, acknowledging and being considerate of the other's feelings. Then the third is sharing emotions. I wrote in there, where both feel disappointed. So creating a mutual bond that you are feeling overwhelmed with emotion as well. This is not something that you're taking lightly. This is not something that you're just brushing over. You acknowledge their feelings, you acknowledge your own hurt from this experience, and you really want to move forward. The fourth step is how can you right the wrong? Sometimes you won't be able to right the wrong, but in this situation, I thought of a scenario of how I could create a recording that she could email out to people, and that could potentially, rectify or create less of a harm, right? So the people would get the recording, they would be able to hear it. I definitely value time, so it was something that, I could apologize. I'm so deeply sorry for, not being present. It was just an opportunity for me to apologize and to right my wrong. Not all scenarios will have that. Sometimes things are going to happen and you really can't do anything to change it. It's only the steps that you can take moving forward to right your wrong, right? Your actions speaking louder than your words, but words do have power too. I truly believe in that. So whether you're doing this apology through an email, face to face, like, it's important to know that your words have a strong resonance, that there is going to be some change in your behavior or some way that you're going to try to rectify the wrong now. This is not about beating yourself up or making yourself feel bad. When you're trying to right the wrong, you automatically feel confident that you're trying to take the steps to do the right thing. Then it's step 5. Step 5 is more of an internal step. This is not something that I illustrated necessarily in the email, but it's all about what can you learn from this and how can you do better in the future. One of the biggest things that I learned from this is that our minds can be very tricky. When we think we know something, that's a very dangerous space to be in because our minds can play tricks on us. When I look back in my emails, there were definitely a certain few emails that she did have the dates on, but I skimmed through it. Either I was not being mindful at the moment, either I looked at it and it totally went out of my mind because my mind was fixated on something. So what I learned from this is definitely be more mindful when it's a date, to be really crucial clear that this is the date. This was a tentative date that was set like back in December, and I never changed it on my calendar. So things happen, mistakes happen, but now I'm going to be more vigilant when it comes to dates, when it comes to speaking, when it comes to events, to be really crucial clear and really be mindful about making sure the date is correct on my calendar. And so that's the steps that I'm going to do moving forward. And rather than, it was so easy for me to be like, oh my gosh, I lost this opportunity, I'm never going to get this. I wrote it in there humbly, please consider me for next year. And when she responded back to me in a few hours. She was so gracious. She said, thank you so much for sending this email. It means so much to me. And she said, of course, I know that this wasn't intentional. This is not in your character. She's worked with me before. And she's like, I really genuinely appreciate you even going out to make the effort of making the video. And she said, next year you can give this presentation. And so I didn't lose the opportunity. I could have very easily, beat myself up. Like, I lost this opportunity and she's going to think horribly of me. But I just vulnerably put myself on the line, and the results of it was that she felt my genuineness. We didn't destroy a relationship. There was honesty in it, and we can now move forward. So there you have it. That is the 5 steps to creating an authentic apology. Whether you do it in person or in email, depending on the relationship with the person, these 5 steps truly needs to be there in order for there to be genuine connection, a forging intimacy and trust. Now I want to hear from you. The most important conversations happen over at my private and safe Facebook group. So head over to modsandmamatribe.com and join the conversation. Has this ever happened to you? What do you do to create authentic apologies? I really can't wait to hear some of your suggestions. Now, if you loved this video, certainly subscribe to my channel and make sure that you go over to TejalTV. You can get some free, great mini series and mini trainings when you sign up for my newsletter. They'll give you simple ways to stress less, live mindfully, and raise mindful children too. I just want you to know that your presence here, you watching this, truly means the world to me. So share your feedback, share the topics that you want me to dish about on the next TejalTV episode, and certainly join me in the private Facebook group so we can connect personally. Thank you so much for watching TejalTV, and check out all my other inspiring and empowering videos either on my YouTube channel or on my blog at tejalvpatel.com. Bye guys!